Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we're here and we're back with this setup that we used in our schedule previews. That was kind of fun to switch up our recording area and the way that we record, of course, using my phone again. So we'll get a little better quality than when I record on my computer. But for some reason the computer has decided it doesn't want to work properly. So that's what happens when you have a 2015 computer. It doesn't get updates anymore, I guess. But yeah, what's it called? Something on there. Oh, quick player, is that what it's called? Yes. Quick time player on my MacBook has decided it doesn't want to do recordings anymore, which is fine. So what are we going to talk about? Well, of course, I took September off from making videos. I felt like I had done so many throughout the year. And saying in, I don't even remember what it was, a few years ago, that I was kind of done doing videos that frequently. We jumped back into it, especially in the summer. We went hard for a few months there. But yeah, it's been a pretty consistent year from countdown to 10 starting in January, going all the way to the end of March to celebrate 10 years of the channel. Then we had Abby Said It Was Wild June. We had a full month of videos in July, and then we had theme week month in August. So it's been a pretty full schedule since, the beginning of the year. So I want to take a step back and just sort of chill, have September off, which we've done a pretty good job of. I mean, we had Wanyá's birthday, we had 2 scheduled videos, and this going out on the first day of October, of course, has also been recorded in September. So that's pretty much it, though. I mean, I guess we edited the shorts of Max Verstappen winning races, but that's just screen capture, so not really much effort required in that. But yeah, I want to just have the end of 22 here, be a good end of the year, because it's been, I'd say overall, a pretty good year. So I have 3 different points that I sort of want to discuss of my plans for October, November, December. Last 3 months, about 90 days of video window, and what the plans are for that. So the first one, I have relevant releases, only record a few days before release. So that's something that genuinely I've had a problem with my video making like that for years. I mean, it's no secret that a lot of people that do YouTube videos are recorded ahead of time, and I think that works well. Some people like to do, day before, whatever. But for me, I've always felt like doing videos super far ahead. And I don't want that to be what I do. I want there to be a balance. And I feel like a lot of the videos that I do don't, convey a relevant to maybe the moment or what's happening. Especially if we do like a sports video, racing game of F1 or NASCAR. I can record it a month out, so by the time it goes out, we're not talking about anything super relevant. For example, the most recent race that happened is Bristol at the time that I'm recording this. So by the time this goes out, there'll be another race or 2, and that's just an example of that. Or for F1, the most recent race has been the Italian Grand Prix. So, showing that as an example, of course, it's only a few days out that this, goes out, probably like 7-8 days, I believe. I don't know. But, you can see how if I talk about that, there's going to be races in between there that happen. NASCAR should have Texas in there, and I think F1 will still have Italy, because I think Singapore is the 2nd of October. Yeah. So there'll at least be one more race in there. So it's not super wild, but say, I recorded this video the beginning of the month. I don't even know what I'd be talking about for a race. Whatever happened at the beginning of the month. So, you take that into context of a video game when you're talking about a race, it doesn't line up as well. So I really want to do content that lines up more with that. And the same for race playlist. Wanyá and I doing those videos together. We may talk about something that happened for us, but then you see it, weeks later. Should have drank a whole bottle of carbonated juice, which I have here in this glass. What's left? God, it's always a mistake. Proceeds to drink more. Yeah. So that's the thing. We do those. I guess the best example is when we started our, current jobs, talking about our orientation. Especially for mine, because his we didn't get to record right after. But mine we recorded like a day or two after the orientation. We like to do that, talk about our jobs and things like that in videos. But it was one of those things that we didn't, have that go out the same amount of time. So by the time that goes out, we've already had weeks of things happen, talk about another video, and it kind of just backs up what's happening by the time it releases. Personal things like that don't really matter, because obviously you're not seeing that side, you're just seeing what we put out. But if we talk about a news topic, and, we're talking about something that happens at the beginning of August, videos at the end of August, it just feels a bit weird to me. I'm sure it doesn't matter in the scheme of things, but I don't know. In my mind, I would just want to have videos go out maybe only a few days after something happens instead of a few weeks. The second thing is fun new content, create videos I truly enjoy. So for me, I definitely feel like I've dialed that in to doing content that I enjoy. But there is still a level of me making videos conform to some schedule that I think I need to have. Now, we're going to have a schedule of 3 videos a week. We're going to have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, pretty much for the end of the year. We'll see when December comes around for our end of the year content, which those typically go out on Sundays of the year, and then whatever the last day of the year happens to fall on. So whatever day is the 31st of December, that has a video on it for our year-end videos. So typically there's five or 6 year-end videos. But besides those outlier videos, and, an occasional short here or there, random things, but the normal things that I do, scheduled videos, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I feel that works, because I don't want to overdo it with videos like I was doing before. We had daily videos again. I want to try to keep myself away from that level. But I also want to do enough videos at the same time. So finding that balance. I'm also finding the balance between, me working. I think I've, getting into that has been something I've kind of honestly been able to avoid with this month off, and everything being so far ahead. that when I started my job in, June, I had a few weeks before the schedule got, very packed. And I guess the insight into my job, right? I'll explain that. For those of you who don't know, I started working at Lowe's back in the end of June. I believe it was like June 21st or something. It was my first day. So they put me in the lumber building materials department. And if you don't know, that department is probably one of the least desirable departments for people coming in to the job or even, working there, just from the standpoint of a lot of the stuff you're working with. So there tends to be already a high turnover rate at most of those jobs, but that department just amplifies it more. Most stores struggling to hire people anyways. So a store that's struggling even more to fill that job. So I started working there, and people were out for the summer from college, high school, whatever. But a few of those people in that apartment went back to school. One guy cut his hours, one guy left completely. We had the manager of the department, he left. So all of that kind of happened. And I got put into a spot where I kind of got all the hours for the department because I was pretty much the only one. I mean, we had our manager, the new manager that got put in there. We had one guy who can only work a few times a week. And we have one guy who only works on the weekends. And then there was me, who's available every day besides Sunday. Because I want to watch racing, and I said no to Sunday. But basically the thing I'm getting to is I was supposed to have part-time hours, but a good amount of the weeks I've gotten closer towards full-time hours. My most recent week here, I put in 30 hours. A few weeks ago, I had 37. And for full-time at Lowe's, you get 39. So I've been getting close to that, so trying to find the balance in that will be interesting. That's why I think that doing only a few videos a week. Again, we'll see how the hours come down. They've hired some new people, but not all of them seem interested in working. So maybe one of the 3 people will stay. But yeah, I guess to that point, it's just a little bit more demanding than other parts of the stores. Just on the fact of you're moving heavy things all day, whether it's wood or concrete or sheetrock, just moving it around. You're doing all that stuff. And then you got the people that want to come in and find that perfect one board. You got the pros who are very particular and can be a bit cringe. I'll use that term. They're very specific about what they want. Some of them are big spenders and think that they're entitled to whatever. So there's that vibe to it that maybe is a little off-putting as well. So it's a balance of those things. So yeah, somebody new comes in and they're maybe a little less likely to be like, I vibe with this. But personally, I've been pretty happy with it myself. Definitely glad to have the last few days. I took today and tomorrow off just to be able to chill. But after working the amount of days I did, it was a little bit like I just need a break. But for the most part, I've genuinely enjoyed it. So yeah, hasn't been too bad in my opinion. But that's that. So that's trying to figure out my schedule, work wise, balance videos, which is not really an issue that I had to deal with previously with my previous jobs. My previous job of working at Target back seasonal from November, December, January. That was something that was pretty easy for me to do because I wasn't really doing many videos. And then my working at Stop and Shop was also easy to balance because I had like 15 hours a week. So, all right, I got to do one of my two shifts this week. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Again, one nice thing is I tend to work later at night. My shifts are typically either 2 to 11 or like 3 to 11. And lots of times at 11. Turns into 10, 10:30. Again, depends on who the manager is, if you can just fuck off or not and leave early. Really depends on who's there that night. So you just look at the schedule, you're like, all right, we're going home early, or oh shit, we're staying here till 11. But no, for the most part, there'll be time to do some videos. Again, that's why I wanted to start something light. The collaborative videos with Wanyá, those might be a little bit more difficult because we have to balance both of our schedules. Fortunately, we tend to get a similar schedule. He's typically 2 to 10 at his job, typically 2 to 11 at mine. So, yeah. Hopefully mine will go down by an hour soon once the store cuts hours. I guess Lowe's stays open, at least the one that I work at stays open for an hour extra. I don't know if every single one does, but an hour extra compared to Home Depot. So, Home Depot closes at 9. Lowe's will stay open to 10 to get that one customer. And then lose considerable amounts of money to pay all their employees that are still there. But that's a story for another time. I rambled on too much. That's going to be its own video, is my working experience. So we need to get a Race Plus recorded. But yeah, so balancing that, and I guess on the level of creating new fun content, I want to do content that is, again, fitting purely to what I want to do and not saying, ooh, we've already done one GTA video this week, or ooh, we haven't played this game in 2 weeks. No, I just want it to be, I feel like playing this game this week, and if it's 3 videos, it's 3 videos. I guess something thing of that as well as other fun content that we can do, though, is early October, we have some new DLCs / games. Overwatch 2 is apparently coming out. Now, I'm not going to say I'm super excited for Overwatch 2, but, you know, we'll definitely play it a few times, see what the vibe is. From what I've seen, it's basically changes that I don't really think they should make. You know, one less character, battle pass to unlock characters, that type of stuff that I don't think is really cool. I think Overwatch 2 isn't necessarily needed. I think it's just what they should have done, in my opinion, for Overwatch, is A, fix the shit that they fucked up. B, just implement these changes. You don't need to make a whole new game. You can just release more characters while also balancing the game. And then you want to make a story, just make a story DLC. Charge $40 for it, and all the wild people who want Overwatch lore will buy it. tell you right now, I don't give a shit about story. But again, we'll check out Overwatch 2 a little bit. I don't think we'll play that much, but we'll see. Other content, NASCAR 21 Ignition. It's supposed to have a free DLC for 2022 cars, which I'm sure will race just as well as the 2021 cars did. So there's that. So I guess we'll check it out. Again, it's a free DLC, why not? The one I'm interested in, though, is NASCAR Heat 5 is supposed to be getting a paid 2022 DLC. It's pretty good when a company made a game so shit that people want and are willing to pay for a paid DLC added to a 2020 game 2 years later. Like, that's the level we're at of how bad Ignition was. That Heat 5, which, let's be honest, wasn't the best. I mean, Heat 5 was solid. You know, I think that if they just took Heat 5 and ran with it and built something from that, but instead you just got rid of it and made something worse, yeah, that's the issue. Like, the graphics of Ignition look solid, but that's it. So there'll be a paid DLC for that. And I'm going to be honest, I'll probably get that. Try it out. Hopefully it's better than... yeah. Hopefully it's better, but... I mean, I like the Ignition one just to be good, and then we're good. All right. The last thing. The last note. Is celebrate 10 and an awesome year. So, of course, we had the countdown to 10 earlier in the year, and we're not going to do anything else like that. That was it for the purely celebration of 10 years. But more creating content to finish off the 10th year. You know, obviously, technically, the 10th year goes until March 20th, 2023. But purely in the, you know, calendar, we're going to say 2022 is the 10th year. You know, just like when I look at videos, I don't say 2013 was part of my first year. 2013 was my second year. You know, even though 3 months of that were technically year one of content creation, 2012 was year one. So how do we finish off 2022? And for me, what I think has probably been the best year in a while, probably since 2018. You know, not saying there wasn't other good points in 2019, 2020, and 2021. There is definitely a lot of moments that stood out as positives, but I think when I look at the overall and think of those years, I don't necessarily think of it in the most positive light. You know, again, there are a few things that do stand out from those. You know, having my brother live here for that year and a half, almost 2 years. That was very special. Definitely enjoyed that time. You know, learned a lot of different things from him that helped me, I guess, personally. Experiences talking, you know, to him about things that I don't really talk about with anybody else. So, that was positive, and a lot of things we did together was quite cool. I got my first car. That was cool. In those years, I really started, working actual jobs. My first job wasn't the same. It was kind of like show up occasionally and we'll do something. So, that experience and getting to that stage for me was obviously important. Of course, getting Incheon was cool. So a lot of those things, a lot of that was 2021. That I think was solid, but it still had parts that were just like a bit of a yikes. But 2022 has been cool. I've enjoyed it. So I want to, have some content that when I look back at this year, in 3-4 years for videos, I can say that was a good time. That was a good span of content that you put out. Just like if I look back at none of the time. But no, there's different things that I can look back on from each year and say, that was cool. What you did there, especially when the videos from like 2017 on, I look on with a certain vibe, and I can look at something from those years and say, I really like that, or I really like this. And I want to look back at the end here of 2022, make these last 3 months truly special content. Speaking of truly special content, I got a truly pina colada style, which I will be enjoying tonight and honestly at the end of this video. Because if YouTube wants to demonetize this 30-minute rant, because I have a sip of a truly pina colada in the last 30 seconds of the video, you can go right ahead because we're here and we're chilling. I don't give a fuck. And I swear to, damn, I'm done. YouTube's taking me down. Either way, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And, let's make the end of 2022 very swag.